Hello, good afternoon.
It sounds like you're having a very good time today.
We were.
You got a special guest there, I understand.
Yeah, she just.
I heard of her before. I'm not sure who she is, but I heard of her name.
Brandy Vesna, yes. She just ran out the door to get to her next event.
I only seen her 100 times. So
Only?
anyways, yeah, so it was good to see all of them performing together
Yes.
as a grandma, a mother, and daughter. So representing us, you did a great job, Brandy, and your family, as usual.
The legacy.
It is a legacy, it is. And her grandma still got the voice, man.
Oh, she does.
That's where they get it from.
So talented.
Yeah, very talented family. So, and then they got, of course, Johnny Cash right in their house.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, going on, what business are you promoting, Brandy? I know you're a little entrepreneur. So, what are you there just?
Oh,
as a
she literally
musician?
ran out the door. She was just here as a musician.
Oh, she's
today.
gone right away.
She ran out the door. She's got to get to that other songwriting event.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's okay. Now, myself yesterday, I was very honored to be invited. I was in Port La Prairie for Indigenous Veterans Day,
Right.
and it was packed with a bunch of dignitaries from that part of the world, and I was very proud to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was given a beautiful beaded poppy, quite a large poppy pendant by Joseph Crochane, and he handed it to me at the gathering, and I got to wear it. Beautiful, well done. Thank you, Joseph. It means a lot to me. Now you'll see me at veterans gatherings, always wearing that.
Yeah.
And I was just proud of. He took a lot of time. He's 85 years old, and he beaded it himself, and it's quite large. And I was very, very proud to be wearing it in the ceremony in Port La Prairie. We actually had, as I said, a lot of different, the mayor, we had different, we had the premier's representative, our own Métis elected MLA, Robert. He was there, and so it was good to see him representing. Then, of course, we had different dignitaries from the military, a lot of our own ministers, they were there. I was quite pleased to see many of them. I had my own, Denise Thomas, of course, was there as vice president, Judy Mayer, and Jack Park, on and on and on and on, different dignitaries. And Will Goodon was hosting it, and it was just great to see. Dave Baudon was there, Andrew Carrier. I was just so proud to be part of that. And the music, you know what? I was listening to Melissa sing guitar. She's such a great fiddler. And I was listening to her. And then, of course, the Alexina Nolt, she was actually doing the bagpipes. She's a Métis. That's Sean Nolt, who was representing us in Cyprus yesterday in Europe. Of course, thank you, Minister Nolt, representing us out there. But his daughter was actually playing the bagpipes.
Oh, wow.
And she did a superb job. Alexina, I hope you're listening. You did. You made your father proud. I texted her how proud I was of you, and that you were my guest, not my guest, my aide to assist me in putting the wreath in front of the rest of the wreaths that were in front of the building and at the Legion. And I was very proud of her. And I told her father, and her father said, "You're putting tears in my eyes." So I was very, very, very proud. And of course, Sherilyn Knox, the mayor of Port La Prairie, she had some work councillors there, and it was just so well organized. They had a military helicopter fly over us. And that was beautiful, and see the power of the helicopter. You could see the missiles on the side, kind of thing, where they probably go. But it was good. And we had Lieutenant Colonel Joe Dubrow from Canadian Armed Forces there. But going back to Melissa's thing, guitar, she performed some of the different music that's attached to gatherings such as that, and Canada and a few others. She performed. But I was thinking, 4 little strings in that violin can do so much magic.
Right.
Just the sound and the inspiration you get from listening to that fiddle as it's going. It just gives you pride, gives you emotion, gives you sadness, gives you joy. It was just so powerful to hear, and just to think of that, how 4 strings can make such a difference. And I had a chance to also speak, of course, there. And as you know me, I've been fighting for the Veterans File forever. And that's something that has been something so passionate towards me. And my wife has been my aide in this. And she's been fighting with me for 25 years and trying to get Canada to do the right thing. And when, of course, we all know Indigenous people were treated with such hostility upon their return. First Nation, no different. Yeah. The hostility was quite unbelievable to be attained to a people that went out to fight for a people they did not know, a country that begged them to go fight for them, and then treat them with such disdain upon their return. So that November 8th means a lot. It's also a time to celebrate and honor them. Mm-hmm. It's also a time to remember history and why is it separate from November 11th? And really, the story starts in 1993, and 94 is when they accepted Manitoba. But when you look at it, it's really to tell that story. Like they were forgotten again, and like as the Métis, we've been forgotten so many times in history. Only when they need us do they remember us very quickly. And as I said, when they needed us to go and fight overseas in World War One, if you look at World War One in 1885, it's only a few decades prior that the country attacked us in the Potosh and came to war with us. In fact, one of the historic artifacts was mentioned by one of the military, was the different regiments that came from Manitoba. One's the Fort Garry Horsemen, right, that went overseas to fight in Europe, and they originate their regiment from Manitoba. But if you go to the Legislative Assembly, speech about the history here, if you go down to our Legislative Assembly in Manitoba, you'll see the banner of the Fort Garry Horsemen. And their first battle on there is not in Europe. Their first battle they have right on the top is the battle against the Métis and Batoche. So not long after that, here you are fighting side by side with the same people that actually went out to fight overseas, that fought us here before they left, and then wanted us to fight with them side by side overseas. So, but even after all of that, you come back and you're treated with such disdain. Like our people were told not, just the smallest of things such as eyeglasses, dental. They were told no, and a lot of the stories I remember loud and clear because I've been sitting side by side with these veterans forever, and crying with them many times when they tell me the stories, because it so much hurts when you hear the story. Yeah. That they would be treated in such a way where these young bureaucrats would be telling them, and what these officers would say, these young punks, what our military Métis would say, these young punks had the nerve to ask me if I was shot at, do I deserve it? Did I spend enough time? Was it hard enough? All kind of questions which were so distaste, and to make me feel the way I feel, just to try to get support for a pair of eyeglasses. And what they should have realized about our people never went back again. And this is the part, we never asked for charity. We never put out our hands for charity. This is a promise made to every veteran, whether you're First Nation or not, whether you're Métis or not. Every promise was made to every veteran that went overseas that they had an economic start when they got back. Mm-hmm. If they joined the military, our country promised them, we will rebuild your life, we'll help you when you get back home. That was a promise to everyone. Yeah. The only one that didn't get it, really, of course, was the First Nation, the Métis. First Nations finally got their settlement, but I think 12 years before us. And then 75 years of waiting for us to get justice was quite mind-boggling. Yeah. And then you ask yourself the question, I made this speech, and I was passionate about it because it hurts me that our people were treated with such a disdain and such, again, horrific nature of being racism and discrimination, so obvious. And when I said in my speech yesterday, and I want people that are listening right now to stop and think about this. It took 75 years for Canada, the country that we helped build, the country we love, the country we fight for, the country we died for, that it took 75 years to take 7 letters from the 26 alphabets we have in our realm of English. We have 26 letters, and it took 7 letters that needed to be said to say to our people, and the simplest 7 letters were to say, I'm sorry. That's all. Yeah. And they couldn't say that. It took 75 years for this country to admit they're wrong, and to admit that they did completely, sadly, treat our people with such hurt and disdain. So I made that speech over there, and I reminded ourselves over and over again that even though we achieved that, many veterans of today, many veterans yet of tomorrow, will still completely be treated with not the deserved respect they deserve, including from our own people. Like, I go out of my way now when I see a military person, somebody dressed in military, you see them in the airports, you see them, I go out of my way to shake their hand. I say, thank you. Thank you, I say. I don't know them, but if they're willing to wear a uniform, willing to sign their name, they're willing to go fight and die for us, we deserve to say thank you. Yeah. We deserve to show our respect. So that's something that I felt was so important. But the speeches made by so many were very breathtaking. And again, I was very proud. I was very proud to go and show ourselves with the pride we have for our veterans, the pride we have for showing, that we would do it all over again. And the sadness on all this, Naomi, as I said this yesterday in my speech in Portage, I said it might even happen. Okay. We don't realize that we have the situation in the United States where Trump has now won the election, and Trump has already made threats to Ukraine that potentially he will not support it. That potentially he said, I'll solve the problem in one day. And what I think he's meaning by that, and what I'm hearing already in the media, he's going to tell Ukraine to give up their land to Russia that they already have. And Ukraine is not going to do that. No. And if he doesn't get military support and weapons and finances out there, Russia is going to have a field day because Ukraine can't protect itself, and there'll be slaughter. Yeah. And it'll linger on. Don't think it does. It's overseas, all right. It's far away. But it doesn't mean it won't affect us here 5, 10 years from now, how it could turn the world into a different regime. That worries me for young people.
It does.
That's why you got to pay attention to politics, not just about our stuff at home. Mm-hmm. My job as a president to look at all the politics in the world. And how does it come back to affect us? Will it affect us? And if it does, what do we do to prepare ourselves? No different than COVID. When COVID came after us in the world, we didn't know what to do here, but we already took action when we heard about it in China. We didn't wait for it to come here. We started talking about it in cabinet. We started saying, holy man, if this virus crosses the ocean, what are we going to do? So we started putting a communication plan, an action plan, and lo and behold, we were very successful. And again, it's because our people, our youth, our elders, all came together as one family and supported each other. And we overcame COVID. So it's about taking action and looking at what's happening in the world. And I'm paying very close attention to what's going to happen to Ukraine. You see, most of our buildings today, we support Ukraine. We have our flag flying there for supporting an innocent country that's attacked by a ruthless leader, a communist style of approach to governance where he doesn't believe he has to answer to anyone. So, yeah. And I worry somewhat what Trump has said in his speeches, that if he tries to really fulfill his speeches, it could turn into some disaster in the world. So be prepared. I'm not trying to scare people, but I'm telling people we got to watch everything. We got to be prepared. So this day on Sunday, of course, I'll be at Murray Sinclair, the great Murray Sinclair. I'll be at this event of saying goodbye and the memories of Murray for many who have known him or who read his work, done his work. Mm-hmm. Will remember that his memories of his work will live on in many of us today. Many of us as leaders, many future leaders will look to his work, reflect the thoughts of his writing, his recommendation. And if everybody pays attention to Murray, one of the great things I have, the pride I have in him, and I chatted with him many times in the plane, chatted with him, I work for Department of Justice at times, and I watched him throughout his career. And, of course, he was a brilliant man. Yeah. But the way he carried himself was such eloquence. Like, he didn't just say something, he thought about what he said. Yeah. And his words always had meaning. He reminded me of my brother, Albert. He was quiet. He was the vice president of the Northwest Region. Anybody that knows him, he's passed on in tool some time ago. But when you listen to him around cabinet or listen to him, the art of talk is like his brother, David, who speaks all the time. But my brother would actually very carefully speak when he speaks and think out his words before he said them. And the cabinet would just go quiet and they'd listen. And that's what Murray reminded me all the time. Like when he spoke, I said, I text Negan and again to give my condolences. I know he lost his mom now, he lost his dad. Yeah. That's a hard thing. very hard for any family to take.
And in like 3 months, man.
Oh, it just like, like I said, I can feel it, I can understand it, because I lost my mom, my sister, and my brother in 18 months, and so I understand what Negan and the family is going through, and it hurts. But one thing our families, and Murray, I'm sure Negan's mom has taught them, that they're not truly gone. They're here.
Yeah.
They're here. He's just got to do like I do every morning. I talk to my mom this morning. I said, hello, Mom. Yes, last night we go to bed. I said, good night, Mom. I love you. So it gives you a sense of calmness. But it reminds me, and also reminds me what my mom taught me, that they're still here. If you need them, they'll come.
Yeah.
So I told that to Negan, don't always remember your dad's around. He's going to be around. He's going to be around for a long, long time until you don't need him anymore. But he's going to be there. So I think for most of us as Indigenous people, Métis people, First Nation people, Murray has taught us a great sense of what can be achieved. Yeah. You think about his life growing up, making a few bucks apparently, driving people across the river, not driving, with his paddling with his boat, to make a few pennies here and there, a few dollars here and there. His hardship of surviving. We grew up very poor, and Murray was no different. Yeah. But he had a dream, and I'm so thankful that he didn't leave law school. He left for a while, went back. I'm so thankful, because look at how he changed the world. He was destined to make change.
Yeah.
And the good Lord chose him to be that voice, or that instrument that will bring change to Indigenous people in the world. So I said to Negan, and I said this in a way that I have such pride on the two people I'm going to mention. I'm sure I said Murray's going to have some good chats with Lou Riel up there. And so I'm going to talk about some stuff, And I said I'd love to be sitting there listening to their wisdom and of the two smartest people we can think of that in time have made such a great change to so many people. So, but I've always had great aspirations of respecting his vision, like his view. Just the way he came across was such a powerful thing, and that's why I said he could suck the energy out of the room. Because when he came in, he didn't have to talk. He just walked in a room, but people knew him. When he spoke, he always meticulously spoke. So that's something as I said, I got to really appreciate such a wise man. So I'll be there Sunday, and then Monday, it's of course November 11th, Veterans Day, and I encourage everybody to take their time, do a prayer, take your time. If you know a veteran in your town, maybe drop off some, plate of food, or drop off something, and I just want to say thank you, and just, if you see him down the street, say hello, and not only those that went overseas. People, always remember this, when people signed the document that they were joining the military, they automatically were at risk to be called, to be sent overseas, to be sent somewhere to defend and possibly die. Mm-hmm. So always remember those that, like we have in our cabin, I got Sean Nault, I got Andrew Carrier, was in the Navy, I got John Fleury, I got Jack Park. These are elected officials in our government who were involved in joining the military or the Navy. So those people I have great honor to. Yeah. They're willing to give their life to fight and sacrifice the greatest sacrifice, your own life, for somebody else's gain. So I always have great respect for that. So November 11th, I'll be in St. Laurent. I know there's a big event at the RB Center, but I go to these smaller ones. I feel too many times they're forgotten, and the bigger ones consumes too much. And so that's why I went to Portage la Prairie. I didn't go to the one here in Winnipeg. I went to Portage la Prairie, where I was invited to attend and speak, and I really liked it. I really was there to support a big local we have there. We have Wes Anna, he's the local chair. And then we had a lot of our local dignitaries there. Our local executives were there from St. Eustache and other places. It was just beautiful to see. And the pride, the smile, the tears that were being shed about the feelings of our veterans was so breathtaking, and I really appreciated that. But I guess I was also in Ottawa, hobbling around there. I hurt my leg again pretty bad. I'm not hurt it, I swelled it up pretty bad because I was hobbling around all over Parliament to meetings I had to go to. And each of these meetings, they had to happen. I met with Jagmeet Singh. Yeah. I was very proud to do that in the sense of the treaty. We talked about the Bill 92 also, about where Canada is not fulfilling its obligation. We negotiated Bill 92, for everybody, just to remind people, is for Indigenous Child and Family Services in Canada, and where we transfer the jurisdiction and powers to our governments. So that's not been signed by Canada. A few First Nations in Canada have been able to access it, but only a few. We're the first. We'll be the first forever, for sure. We're the leader in child and family in the homeland, and so we negotiated the agreement already, but the minister has not yet signed it. So months have gone by where children and families are still placed at risk because the federal government is not acting. Mm-hmm. So I asked Jagmeet Singh to support us on this endeavor to push 92 and see where and why it's not being done. Also had a chance to meet Yves Blanchette, and of course he's the leader of the Bloc in Quebec. Yep. And we had a good meeting. We talked about Louis Riel, and they have great pride for Riel, still in Quebec. They've not ever forgotten Riel. And so we had a very good meeting, and we did talk about our treaty. And I talked about Bill 92, also to Francois Blanchette, and Sebastian is one of his MPs from Quebec. And they actually want to come to even the gravesite. They want to come to visit us in our building. They're, of course, more or less a Quebec party, but they still look at what's happening in the country. And one of the things that really touched me about Francois is Blanchette, the leader. He said, when I went to Juno Beach, he said, to see Juno Beach some time ago, I was quite disappointed, he said. On the context, there was nothing there about Indigenous people. And he was right. There was nothing there. It took us a long time to get that museum intact to really depict who we are as a people and different nations. So I thank him personally for recognizing that he was there as a leader at one time or just going there as a spectator. And he was quite disappointed. There was nothing talking about us, just Canada, but nothing talking about Indigenous people. So I thank him for recognizing that. Then by chance, I bumped into Pierre Poilievre. I met him close to about 10 minutes in the hallway. We had a good chat. I talked about our housing with him, our success to our housing, and I was very proud. I just want to give an update. So far, 1,150 families have bought their houses. Wow. It's cost us only $16 million to do that. It also now houses 2,382 people in their houses today.
Oh, that's awesome.
That 640 children now have a house that they own with their parents, and it's such a powerful thing. And success of it, I think, of course, Mr. Goodon and his team of what they've done. And our people have borrowed altogether in mortgages $272 million.
Wow!
But that's helping the GDP, it's helping the economy of our country, and on and on and on. So I'm very, very proud of that. So again, and when Pierre told me, Pierre said, what we do, we calculate a value of a first-time home buyer to $70,000 a house. Well, I said, if you're doing that calculation, then you're talking that we bought, tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars into the economy, into the benefit of all Canada. So he said, is it possible I can look at your model and borrow your model? Wow. I said, of course. Our model is effective. It works. We put it together. We designed it. And our people told us what they needed and what they needed to change. And at the end of the day, I said, look, it's a very strong success. So I hope if he ever gets in, he doesn't try to cut the program, because the program is very successful. And so, but he wants to meet with me. I said, sure, I'll definitely meet with you if you want to have a meeting. So that went very well. It just, I think if my leg wasn't sore, I wouldn't have bumped into him, because I would have walked right past the staircase faster, because I was hobbling down. It's just slow. And so he come running up the stairs, and there I was standing right in front of him. Anyways, I did have a chance to meet with Gary S. Satandri, of course. He's the Minister of Indigenous Services Canada. And I've got good news for our people. Our treaty is now in the stage of being signed in this country. And it'll go to Parliament, Senate, and ratification for legislation and Royal Assent. And our treaty will become the first Métis treaty since promised in 1870 to Louis Riel and our people. And I'm very, very proud of that. I think that signing will be taking place very, very soon. I can't give you the exact dates because I think it's going to be a big event. Okay. I also had a chance to meet with Yahara Sachs. She's a Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, and I did tell her about our struggles on the opioids and all the kinds of other situations where our people are now taking pills and really damaging themselves mentally. And there are suicides that do happen to our families, and we all suffer because of mental health. And we have regards to homeless situation where people are on the streets because of mental health. So we had a very good meeting and a good discussion of our plan, and of course the Indigenous support in this country about mental health is being pushed strongly by Canada, but I want a Métis-specific plan, I said to her, that can address and value its success. So Infinity Women is, of course, opening a transition center. We're looking at announcing that very, very soon. I can't wait for that announcement. And we'll see if the province will support us on this financially or not. But we know we got some federal support, and we have the Métis government support on it financially. And we'll see if the province wants to support us and work with us on it. If not, we'll go on our own. But we plan to open an addiction foundation because we know it's needed out there. So I got birthdays to do before I say goodbye. I better quickly do that. I have more to report on, but I'll stick to this.
Okay.
Happy 35th birthday is going on to Judy Mears' son, Corey. Celebrates birthday on Wednesday, November 6th. Happy 57th birthday. Oh, she announced her age. Amanda Boudreau.
Oh, happy
Executive
birthday.
Special Assistant. 57. Holy macaronis. And celebrating, holy man, Amanda. That's old. Anyways, happy birthday. She's my
That is
executive
not.
assistant. So,
She doesn't look a day over 39.
She'll probably say, no, I'm 51. But she announced 57 years old. That's a good woman, not scared of her age. Happy 64th birthday is going out to Hilda Bushy. And a lot, of course, people know her out in that community. The late Robert Bushy's wife, who's now leading our projects out there, taking firewood to all of our senior citizens, and is well loved by so many of our elders out there and the work they do with their team. So thank you guys out there that haul wood and the ones that are out here hauling wood in the south. There's actually 400 houses we take firewood to. It's unbelievable. It's a large crowd. Happy 68th birthday is going to Doug Forgy, Anastasia, Debbie Forgy's husband. Celebrating his birthday Wednesday, November 13th. Happy birthday to Curtis Chartrand, my nephew. That's Albert Chartrand. I spoke of him earlier. That's his son. Celebrates his birthday in November 13th. I think him and his brother are going to go to Vegas or something to celebrate the birthday. And happy birthday is going to Chris Yates, a Red River Métis citizen, beyond borders, who celebrates his birthday Wednesday, November 13th. And happy 26th birthday going to Darian Janai, my nephew's son, and celebrating his birthday on November 15th. And I want to say a big hello to people that listen to our show all the time. James Puffout is a justice. He's in 17 years with the Federation. Archie Brackenier, and that man's in good damn shape, man. He's I think he's in his 90s, but I tell you, if you look at him, you think he's in his 60s. Linda Dimray, one of our big fans that listens to meet you all the time, never misses our assemblies.
Yeah.
That's why the Flower Patch. Thank you again for all that you've done. And I want to thank the veterans team also for all the work they did in organizing Ports of Prairie and other events that are happening. And I want to thank the Sharp Sisters and Johnny Dietrich and all the entertainment that took place out there. And, of course, Johnny Dietrich and the sisters, great voices. And of course, as I said, I can't say enough about Melissa St-Godard and her skill in the fiddle. So with that being said, I'll say goodbye. Don Roulette's out there waiting for me. He's listening on the Métis Hour right now. And
Hi, Don.
Puffing his cigarette outside the house here and looking serious. And so he came over to have some coffee with me. But again, thank you for all listening to Métis Hour, and thank our elders for all your guidance. And most of all, thank you to all the veterans, yesterday's, today's, and tomorrow's, that will be willing and there to support us and necessarily die for us to protect all of us. So thank you very much to all the veterans, and thank you for what you do.
All right. Thanks, David.
Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.